Hello, it's me, Jess. Welcome to my channel. And today we are doing a lovely, juicy reading on what soul lessons are you and this person that you're thinking about learning via your connection, via your relationship together. So pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. But before we get started in the readings, I did just want to shout out another reader here on YouTube. I really do think she's going to be big. Her channel name is called Briar Rose Tarot. She is so good, you guys. I love the way that she explains things. It's very holistic, and she uses a lot of metaphors, and she uses like examples from her own life in order to help the concepts really come through. I just like it so much. The reading I found her on, I can't remember which one it was, but she really like made something click in for me, and I just appreciated that so much. She's very, very good, and she's so close to 10,000 subscribers. And if you don't know how things on YouTube work, once you hit 10,000 subscribers, you actually can monetize your channel. So it makes doing this full time a real possibility for so many of us, and she's so close to that. So anyways, if you guys are looking for a good tarot reader, that's one that I found. I love sharing really good channels that I find as they come across them, because like I said, I feel like so many of us read for each other, and it's just nice to be able to support people who are good at what they do. So anyways, on to our reading here. We've got 3 piles, 1, 2, 3. I will put the picture up for you, and I'll see you at your reading. Okay, pile number 1. What is the lessons here of this connection that you have with this person? What are your lessons and what are their lessons? Okay, so this is a strong soul connection. I mean, look at all these very well-placed major arcanas. It wouldn't surprise me at all if you felt like you had some sort of a psychic connection here with this person. Like if you felt that there was a deeply spiritual purpose here to this connection. And I see spirit here really trying to go in with like a scalpel, with a fine tooth instrument, especially in regards to your person. Now keep in mind, like I'm reading, this is you and this is your person over here, but you can see up here that his arrow is pointed over here at your person's addictive energy. And so I feel like that is the primary purpose for having brought the two of you together, although you are clearly going in within your own self here as well. And some of you actually might have felt that spirit turned its back on you in regards to this connection. Like you weren't getting the answers that you wanted. You felt left out in the cold by spirit. And there's so many stories in spiritual literature across many traditions where you have a very faithful servant of God that is like, God, hello, there's that really famous quote in Christianity. I don't think it's actually from the Bible, but it says, when you looked down and saw only one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you. So you might have looked down and saw only your own set of footprints here in this connection as you're walking through. And that is because a big thing that you are learning here in this connection is self-reliance and self-trust and how to go within, when nothing makes sense externally and when you're feeling rejected and when you're not getting your needs met, because I think that was a big thing. When you were not getting your needs met, there's clearly a group and possibly a family. You're definitely soul family here with this person, but how to do that in order to meet your own needs. And we have seen this message many a time before, but this is the group where you are being uplifted to Aquarian leaders. And not only that, an Aquarian leader, to be clear, is somebody who Aquarius rules the group. It rules the crowd. It's somebody with the perspective that none of us is above the other. We all have different skills and talents, and that the best way for us to get along in this world is together. So many spiritual sages have said it's all of us or none of us. When we're all at our best, we don't put other people in cognitively dissonant situations where they have to make some kind of a Sophie's choice, in their life whenever they're around us, or choose the lesser of two evils. We just don't put other people in those positions. And so other people can be their best and be confident and comfortable with what's going on around them. And so I feel like a lot of you have this Aquarian energy, or you're being encouraged to nurture some kind of interesting or maybe even out there perspective, hobby, point of view in order to give you yourself your own fulfillment. And this has to do with creative fulfillment. And I feel like it's not without its own heartbreak. I don't know if you can see this man, but his heart looks on fire. Some of you could have experienced bouts of indigestion. I don't know if you can hear my little girl cat outside my door. She doesn't have indigestion that I know of. So anyways, yeah. And I feel like you guys, there's clearly some kind of skill that you have. I feel like some of you this to me looks like a relationships therapist, to be honest. So a lot of you guys might find yourself working with couples or families in a therapeutic setting. Maybe some of you are called to work those issues out here within yourself, but I feel like whatever skills you learn, it's like how to be in healthy relationship with self, with others. Because in order to be in healthy relationships, this is the secret of the Aries Libra axis. We talk about this often. You have to get right with yourself. You have to be a strong person yourself, otherwise that can lead to some codependency. And I feel like I'm not really seeing that you were codependent, but I am seeing that you had a habit of trusting the wrong people. And especially women, and maybe especially manipulative women who were very nitpicky towards you. They just picked apart your energy because you have this very sweet, beautiful, here, go ahead of me in line, like that kind of an energy where you like to celebrate other people. And I feel like a lot of you have a hidden anxiety within you that can come through as perfectionism, and it can come through as like being very curated and relying heavily on your manners. Not that we all shouldn't be well mannered. It's just that I think you could take up a little more room in a social scenario than you actually do. But in order to build this confidence, I think that there's something here about education. Maybe some of you, it's like credentialing or bolstering your communication skills. There is clearly a skill set here that you can use to possibly create and start your own business. This looks like somebody who's highly skillful in the realm of social intelligence. Maybe you could work with women. Oh my gosh, we always see this group of people. But this is like a group of people with women and very educated men who are very clean and who like to have like philosophical or like higher brow discussions. So maybe you guys could work with some people here like this where you are an expert or you're helping to problem solve, and it has to do with the way things are connected and like bringing into balance. So maybe this person that you are in a connection with, this could very well be your boss. This could be a member of your family with Leo here. I do think it's a very proud person who does stand out and who does have some sort of status, whether it's a status like in a smaller group, because this can happen on a gradient. So smaller group or larger group, I do feel like this person has some sort of position and they are not afraid to just be themselves or say whatever comes up in the moment. And so you're probably very drawn into this person's energy in regards to that, because I do feel Spirit is trying to uplift you and highlight you, but it's teaching you to rely on yourself. That you don't need this person. And I just feel Spirit, pulling back just to allow you to experience your own capability and your own brilliance. Claire Nocti has this quote that I think of like once a day, but she says, spiritual adepts often prefer the dark because in the dark they can see the lights of their own soul, of their own candle, and it is not polluted by any of the other lights around. So there's no confusion as to what is coming from you and what is coming from others. And a lot of you needed to see how beautiful and how strong your light was, because you had people around you that were making you feel less than and just picking apart your beautiful nature. And so Spirit is trying to bring you to a place of fruition and healing is what I'm hearing. Like it's almost like bringing you to bloom. is what I'm getting. And in order to do that, it had to bury you like a seed. And you are growing towards the surface. And I love using this example, but just like a seed is built to traverse the terrain that is beneath the soil, where it's, I don't know, probably like hard to push through. It's like, you're pushing through dirt and maybe rock and rubble and, all those little dandelions that have to poke through the sidewalk. You're pushing through like in the darkness, and then you finally burst up through the light, and that is a whole different thing where you're growing leaves and you're learning how to photosynthesize. A lot of you are in that phase, or this person was the catalyst through which spirit pushed you down into some soil, and you have pushed your way up, and now you are starting to bloom and photosynthesize, and there is so much nourishment that you can bring to people. And I feel that maybe some of you are called to an alternative life path in this current lifetime that you're living, where you're almost like mothering or fathering the world or a certain group of people. A lot of you could be called to teach, like some sort of teaching profession, because spirit sees you as somebody who is very, very well-rounded. You could be Venus Mercury dominant here, which is just a stupid smart energy. I love that phrase. Yes. And maybe you have something that's very oppositional like that, or people, when they see one side of you, they don't see the other side of you, kind of a thing. But you are very, very well-rounded. Venus is quite a creative and well-rounded energy. And I feel like even if you do receive some kind of formal training, there's a creative aspect that you are going to put onto it that spirit really wants to see cultivated. And I do think this would tie into your own life mission and your life's journey. I feel like this is, for you, this is the opposite of what I would expect a calling to feel like loud and in your face. It's almost like your calling will come through from your own heart in the silence of you being in the dirt, and pushing your way up. And because you have your own independent thing that you are supposed to cultivate. And it is through sorrow, by the way, because this energy right here is the energy of Ardra, which maybe some of you have in your chart. It's the middle of Gemini. And that is, its symbols are so interesting. It's destructive storms, a teardrop, and an emerald, and it's like, it rolls over like jewels. And they can be very calculating, but I'm getting that as like precision. It is associated with immense amount of sorrow that leads to tears, that leads to a jewel. So it's like somehow through sorrow and soul searching, you are shedding your skin and you are helping to build relationships. I feel that this is what I mean again by this Aquarian leader. You're the type of person to build other people up. And when you have immature or undeveloped leaders that are all about status and recognition, they tend to undercut people that are very strong. You won't do that. And so spirit wants to get you into that position, because if you grow, everyone grows. That's what this magician, some of you have a green thumb, by the way. And if you bring in like plants or greenery around you, I feel like you will be, I don't know, it could just connect you with that aspect of you that is very nurturing in a skillful way, and is bringing things into this like luscious, luscious state of being. Now, through this connection as well, spirit is bringing you home to yourself and also to other people who have a similar vibration. And this is making me think of the Ram Dass quote that is like, we are all just walking each other home. Meaning like, there are certain things that I know, there are certain things that you know. And if we all get together and it's like, I bring you to the blue Pokemon so you can catch your blue Pokemon, and then you bring me to the green Pokemon so I can catch my green Pokemon. Like, if we all do that with each other, which again, like, you are going to be a leader in whatever it is that you are doing, whatever skill set it is that you are doing, but you are a social leader. Whatever it is, it's highly skillful, and I think it involves some kind of communication and tools here, perhaps sharp tools. Maybe your sharp tool is just your mind. I'm not sure, but because of this, you can uplift, so you can do an immense amount of good. You really, really can. And Spirit just has to be kind of like hands off with you. Now, it's also like allowing your little freak flag to shine is going to allow the other weirdos that are like you to find you, and to feel at home and warm and welcome and accepted. I think a lot of you guys are building up really good habits or like routines in order to master a skill set or to fit all of everything in to your schedule, whatever learning that you are doing. That's also good. Some of you there's something here about like eating well, like nutrition. Maybe that's, I don't know, for some of you guys, yeah. That's another element to this. But this is Venus and Aries energy. So it's like Spirit wants you to love yourself and value yourself. And I do feel like there could be, I think a lot of you are just considered very beautiful, or you're known for your physical appearance, or you could be. But that's why you've cloaked this maybe in the past, where you just like to fit in because you've had people that really, I'm seeing that like mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all. Like somebody who just looks at you and they're like, that person's the fairest, I'm the fairest. So I'm going to tear this person down. And I'm seeing somebody getting very like clawy, you know? And so I feel like you have learned how to like dim your light, but Spirit is like, no, no, no. I gave you all of that. I gave you this light. We're going to put you, I'm hearing that song, hide it under a bushel. No, I'm going to let it shine. We're not hiding you under a bushel, pile number one. No, no, no. And then also Spirit wants you to think of long-term legacy, long-term impact, to think about where it is you want to be in the long term and develop yourself accordingly, because there seems to be something here about this person's energy that you are with that makes you start thinking about these things. So for both of you here, the Ace of Pentacles, this is about taking practical steps here in the material world. It's about getting started, building your legacies here in the material world. For this other person, it's more about editing it, which I'll get to here in a second. And also I feel like for you, it's about boundaries and trusting. I think a big part of you coming out of your shell is identifying where your boundaries need to be for you to feel safe and comfortable being creative and being expressive and developing your skill set here. I think a lot of you guys are going to work with people one-on-one with whatever your skill set is, but there's also a group element involved. And I don't know, but there's something quite beautiful happening with this. And you're learning how to follow your own code of conduct. So that ties in with boundaries, because that's going to keep these manipulative types away that just want to tear at your energy. So figuring out where your boundaries need to be and kind of maintaining those boundaries like to the letter, you know, where it's like, no, I promised myself that I'm not going to be around people who make me feel like this. Or, you know, I've realized that every person who does this thing, like they just have bad intentions. And yeah, maybe, you know, your life is not a democracy. You get to make your own decisions. That's a L.M.S.W quote, by the way. Your life is not a democracy. She's such a good Aryan teacher of like, you know, I know that she has like her problems. That's why I'm saying that. Like that people, you know, feel a certain way and that she's about certain things. So I understand that, but I'm just saying like she is a very good Aryan teacher. And if you can understand that and take that good from it, then I feel like you'll learn a lot. So yeah, this is all about you cutting ties and becoming independent. Maybe some of you guys also in the past have felt controlled by other people who, like in a bureaucracy, because you've had to work with other people, you've had to really cloak your energy here. So there's something here where you can build your own success, perhaps become entrepreneurs in the future, so you don't have to do that as much. And I get that energy a lot here as well. So now let's take a look at this other person's energy and about what their lessons are here in this connection. Very, very interesting that this person's coming up Leo and you're coming up with the star, which is an Aquarius energy. So there could be like a leader group. Maybe you're a part of a group dynamic, you know, or you feel in some ways, and I'm not saying that you are this, but I feel like maybe in some ways you feel common, or you feel like you come from a common, why am I hearing this, caste? And like this person doesn't. or something, this person very much stands out. Both of you work very hard towards the goals that you have. You just have different modes of going about it. So this person is being asked, what they're learning here through this is they're learning difficult lessons in relationships, because this person, and we've seen this on the channel before, but they tell themselves that they don't need to choose between like nurturing a good solid connection that they would have with someone like you and having that impact their like work goals. They tell themselves that, but this is a person who is very motivated by status and by material things, and they want to have a flashy house, especially. They want to be seen as the leader. They want to be seen and praised and possibly even worshipped. This person thinks about their legacy on a daily basis, and they are very creative, and they like to put themselves out as the center of attention, even if because this person has a regality to them, though, where they are very very noble. They have like a strongly, very noble energy. I think this person could be, I'm hearing business cast, like they definitely could be an entrepreneur. They have some sort of status for helping people, maybe for being a mentor, but I feel like this person is an advice giver, which you see mirrored in like you are learning how to be an advice giver, but from like a different angle. And I think this person's angle is being edited. So this person is learning about the people that they get into relationships with. This person clearly has some kind of an addiction, and I think it is to status, but it also could be to like, maybe it's legitimately like to women or to drinking, socializing, schmoozing, something like that, where they're addicted to that like high life, living the good life kind of a thing. And that is what motivates all their actions. And I'm hearing the end and the means are one. So it's like this person is motivated by status. Well, spirit, and I feel like this is this person's higher self that's coming through. That wants them to alert them to the fact that they put themselves, it's this place that they're coming from that they don't think actually matters. They think that the outcome is unattached to their own internal state of being. So this is not a holistic thinker that you are dealing with. So their own higher self, I feel like, is really strongly here. It wants them to realize that they are compromising their integrity and their honesty, and that they allow this addictive pattern to have authority over their inner spirit. So they're prioritizing the gains that they make in the material world over the gains that they make spiritually and energetically in terms of their own self-expression. And it reminds me of, there's a biblical quote that says, be sure to build your wealth in heaven, in the land that does not pass away, And so this person has been sacrificing their spirit. I'm hearing spiritual erosion. And so that's something that you like, holding up their energy next to your energy. That's something that they become very aware of, is that they have been held by toxic patterns. They have also not been thinking about their long term as well. They maybe have been living like fast and loose in the moment. For some of you guys, maybe this person had a child as a result of that. So this person also, they're a big dreamer. I really think for a lot of you guys, this is all about them getting control over an addictive pattern and transforming this, transmuting this. And I think a big part of it is allowing themselves to feel their emotions and to have a big swing in their own fate and in their own fortune. Dealing with betrayal and abandonment, because this person also doesn't trust the right people. If you come at your life from this perspective of, if I have all the shiny things, then people are going to love me. You're going to have people that are drawn to that, but the quality, right? Venus, the quality of people that are going to be drawn to you, they're going to be other people who value material things, and maybe also over their own relationships and values. And so I think this person has actually been betrayed here as well, because they were pie in the sky and they trusted people, and because they're seen as somebody who has maybe wealth or status, some kind of leadership position, some sort of visibility that is attached to them, then they get betrayed. And they're not aware, this person's not aware of the dangers, not in any kind of a real way, that they're putting themselves actively in a viper pit. They're putting themselves in danger whenever they put out that bat signal. You know, it's a common phrase when you hear people talk about dating and stuff, where it's like, if you lead with your money and your status, don't be surprised that that's what somebody values you for. Don't be surprised that you attract that energy in. So this person needs to connect things. They need to think more holistically. They need to connect that what they're signaling is actually, it's drawing a certain type of person. So this is another thing I was getting. I think for both of you, you've had a certain amount of like cynicism towards people. But Spirit is trying to get you both to realize through interacting with one another that it's not all people, right? That the relationships we have, the others that are around us, are indicative of ourselves and our own internal patterns because of what people value other people for. So whatever signal that you're putting out there, the people that are going to be drawn to that are going to be after a certain thing. And these people that are around you, man, they're very strategic and they're very manipulative. And I feel like a lot of them are female. Maybe there are also females here around this person. Oh yeah, this person attracts liars basically. And people even could have like gotten pregnant by this person or something to get child support or money or status, or they're trying to. Yeah, and so this Spirit actually sees this person as being, I don't know, more like family oriented or something. Being able, certainly strong, like able to build family, able to build legacy, wants this person to use their resource to further Spirit's aims in the world and not their own. As long as this person keeps worshiping themselves and their status, and it's at risk of being torn down. So Spirit wants to, I think there are certain connections with people that Spirit wants to end with this person. That's going to have a huge impact on their fortune. And they might have to start over, but I feel like it would be a very good turn of events here for this person. It just might be paradoxical because this person has an addiction, man. It very well could be like alcohol or drugs. It's certainly to money, status, and power. It's like to living big, living this fast life. But they're learning about betrayal. And I think this person could have harmed you and hurt you, somebody who is genuine. And so they have to understand that it's their energy that hurt you and that you were a good person doing good deeds. Like that's kind of the thing, is that it's supposed to be a bit of a wake-up call here for this person, because this person does have a lot of love for you. And they want to reconcile with you. Okay, I'm just getting like, it's quality versus quantity for this person. I think in their relationships. Oh man. So maybe this person is prone to third party situations, cheating, that kind of thing. But with like a lot of people, and it's like, if you change your energy, you could have like a very quality person, like yourself. You're showing up as the Empress. Could be that you are this person's divine feminine. Yeah. But regardless, there is a lot of like desire to be noble. This person is, I don't want to take away from their own personal responsibility in their life, because Spirit is holding them accountable. And Spirit is saying that it's just that it is kind of like one layer removed from being obvious, especially to this person in the way they were raised or the way their mind thinks. But it's almost like this person is accidentally unnoble in their mind. They don't think that they're ever going to be put in this cognitive dissonant situation. They think that they can be noble and still chase after status and still flash their status and still be known and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. And then, so this person needs to learn a thing or two about how to protect themselves. and what it is that they're building. Because I kind of feel like they're sleeping with the enemy. That's the vibe I'm getting. And maybe it's more than one person. I don't know. But these are people that are going to betray this person in one way or another. Because these people that are around this other person, they're reflecting the same energy. They have their own designs of having wealth and status. This person has unwise sexual alliances. I don't care if you're telling me this person is married or not married or whatever. This person makes unwise sexual alliances. Maybe they hook up with people when they are drinking. Yeah. And I do think that spirit wants this person to start over in a clean slate, because this is the energy of mullah. And a lot of times mullah individuals, there'll be at least one point in their lifetime where they want to like completely scrap everything and like start over. And modern astrologers kind of warn against that to a certain degree. It's like, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. But I think spirit is encouraging this person to cut their ties, cut their losses, start completely over. When you're in a 12-step program, they tell you that like you can't go frequent the same places that you went. You can't hang out with the same people that you did. You have to really develop different patterns, because this person doesn't understand how they are their environment. There's that study that's like, the 5 people that are closest to you say a lot about you, and they determine like how successful that you're going to be interpersonally or monetarily. That's kind of what I'm getting for this person, is they feel like they can be noble, they feel like they can make better choices, and that they can still hang out with people who don't have the most noble of intentions. But this person, so they could keep finding themselves accidentally unnoble, but or like they make too many concessions where it's just become who they are. That is actually, spirit is saying, that is your legacy to me. I don't know what you think you're building in the material world. It's going to pass away, whether it's sooner, whether it's later, but everything does in the material world. Your spiritual and your soul legacy to me is one of betrayal, is one of heartbreak, is one of being on the fence, is one of making concessions when it comes to your own standards for your own behavior. It's one of unwise sexual alliance. It's one of excess. It's one of addiction to status and money. That is your golden calf. That is your idol, right? That you are worshiping. And I feel like this person needed to see your energy to be able to really see that clearly. But I do think this person has someone manipulative around them that is on their same nonsense, where they're trying to tear your energy down. They're trying to be gross and be manipulative, and you're being encouraged to keep your distance. Because part of it is working through distance, through you moving away, retreating within, building your personal creativity, healing, and living with your eyes closed. Because this person that's around this person that's super manipulative, and again, I feel like it could be more than one person. There's at least 5 people here, but I do think there's a primary person. And this person that is around your person is trying to distort your image, but it really is a situation. There's a phrase that's like, just give them enough rope. You don't have to do anything to interfere with this person and to mess up their plans. You don't have to do anything. They're talking their nonsense, and it's going to just become obvious the way that your energetic signature, that's why spirit brought you to this person, is because you can't argue with your energetic signature. So I feel like this person is watching you from afar, or they're reflecting on you, who you are. I do feel like there's distance here. I feel like if you're listening to yourself, you've cut ties with this person and you've maintained distance and you've gone within and you're healing. Some of you guys could be in a degree program. You're building up some kind of skills. Some of you guys work with children, or there's another, Mercury is children, siblings, people around town. And some of you work with maybe another group. And you are building something here for your future. And it's beautiful to see. This is very beautiful. But both of you had this vampire energy in your life. Makes you aware that someone or something is draining your life force. For you, it's the people around you, especially women, but it's a nitpicky energy that doesn't appreciate you. But they come off like they don't appreciate you because they want you to feel shame and guilt for being whoever it is that you are, which is beautiful. And So you are becoming aware of that, and you're realizing that if you become more like this other person, then you're going to have to worry about that less. So that has sparked you on this whole journey that requires you to maintain a focus here. And then for this person, they're realizing that they have gross people around them, and that it's because this person signals with their status. This is not someone who would like become a millionaire and wear New Balance sneakers, you know, and like have a Velcro wallet. You know, this is not that person who's like, man, I need to protect this at all costs. I got to nerd up, you know. This isn't that person. Although there's something very grounded and familial here about this person's energy, and they're learning their karma through their relationships. Let's put it that way. Through toxic relationships that maybe they have built when they're drinking. They certainly have unwise sexual alliances. This person needs to protect whatever it is that they're building better than what they are doing. And they might actually have to learn that the hard way. So that is what I have for you guys, pile number 1. If that resonated, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye, guys. pile number 2, there are many different scenarios that I feel like you guys could be asking about here that are all sharing this same sort of undercurrent pool of energy. And I'm going to do my best to try and describe exactly what it is that I'm seeing here. For instance, I'm seeing that some of you guys could be asking about a work situation. It's a work move that maybe you thought it was very strategic here in the beginning, but maybe this workplace doesn't really care about workers and like their humanness, and instead they only care about mechanistic solutions without regard for emotional consequence. And so you are feeling a sense of grief and a sense of loss and having to kind of scramble. You could be feeling like the burden of that institutional hierarchical energy right now. For many of you, though, this is a romantic relationship that you are asking about, but it's again being filtered through in many ways, and certainly on a gradient. I can see on the more extreme end of things in that scenario, you are feeling trapped. Stuck between a rock and a hard place is what I'm hearing. And it could have to do with something that is very institutional, like just the institution of marriage. You know, you could be somebody who very much values marriage, but there has been some kind of unexpected hiccup with the person that you picked. Because I think in that scenario especially, this person can be very calculating in regards to their own image. And yeah, their visibility, their career maybe even, and how they come across to society. And they waited until the ink was dry on the contract in order to have, like, to borrow some language from the narcissistic community, in order to have like their mask slip. And so now some of you guys are feeling very stuck, very trapped. And you know, it's like you could be two ships passing in the night, where you're living together and you look united. And I think at the heart of it for you, it comes back to some sort of dependency need, emotional dependency, possibly financial, and trying to figure out exactly what to do. Like, should I stay or should I go is a possibility. Now, another possibility that is coming through here as well is that some of you guys might also, I think for a lot of you, you're married or you're in a very committed relationship, or you're thinking about getting married, something like that. And you all of a sudden might be experiencing a limerent connection, or a connection with someone that very much caught you off guard, that's outside of the marriage. It does not have to mean that you are having an affair with that person. It's just your emotions for this person have maybe wrinkled up your plans here in some way, shape, or form. And so you are feeling just stuck and trapped by your feelings and your emotions here for this other person, but also maintaining your marriage and your relationship here as well. And you're just working through that. And so you've been seeking out any kind of wisdom that can help you make heads or tails of exactly what it is that's going on here for you. And so, as you can see, I feel like you're learning a lot of relationship lessons right now via this soul connection. Via this connection with possibly a person you have a contract with, like a marriage partner, and this person factors heavily into how you are seen by people around you. Like, and I think that you're seen as, like, there's maybe a lot of love here, or joint finances or something that could be a part of how you are seen. For some of you, it is, you're seen as having like a big loss and a big, emotional loss as well. But there's a lot of lessons that are coming through here, where you're seeking out higher knowledge in the realm of relationships because of this circumstance that you are in, here with this person, or possibly even people. So it's hard for me to speak about like that wide variety of different circumstances that could be coming out. And I do just want to give like a caveat, especially if you are experiencing any sort of abusive dynamics within this relationship. I would advise you to maybe click off of this reading, because I can't do that. I can't give it the credence that it deserves, and I feel like this is an overall message. Like, it's bigger than just my channel or this reading in this pile. Some of you guys really do risk re-traumatization if you go to trying to understand why things happened the way that they did. You could have been very caught off guard by this person's sudden flip in nature, or by them being very calculating or cold in regards to trapping you or keeping you stuck, or feeling stuck at the very least. And I just feel like I'm supposed to say, the nuance very much matters in those situations. The details matter. And these general readings cannot really adequately account for those things. And it might be something that's worth trying to, if you can get into therapy with a professional that can help speak to the nuance and make sure that they're not re-traumatizing you and trying to ask these deeper questions. Because regardless, I feel like whatever situation you're dealing with here, if I can jump back over to all of us, I think for a lot of you guys, this has led to deeper philosophical questions of like why things happen the way that they happen. And in specific, maybe it is like, why is there suffering in the world? Or why do bad things happen to good people? Or, why to someone who's very traditional and very much values marriage, would they be attracted to someone so heavily outside of their marriage? Something like that. Why would I be led and guided? Was I guided to this person who was being very mechanical with me this whole time, who was kind of finessing me? Why would all of those things happen? And so I feel like a lot of you guys are doing some sort of like deep healing and deep reflective work. I think for a lot of you, this has to do with karma, but it also has to do with intuition, where somehow intuition is factoring in. Either you're building it, or when you do reflect, there were certain you're understanding how it is that your intuition comes across. And I do think that for a lot of you guys, this involves questions of commitment and an inability to commit to a path once found. But to further add to the confusion of this pile, this path, right, is different for all of you. Some of you guys understand that you're in a really tough situation with this person, where you feel like maybe baited, you feel like somebody engineered their own status or like their monetary resource or something through their own dependency needs or something with you in a very mechanical sort of way, and you understand that you are disempowered and that you need to grieve this connection and that this was all very unexpected. You understand you've got 3 8s here and 2 5s. Wow. So 3 8s, you guys probably are sick of hearing me say this by now, but that is always a very logical test. So it's accumulating data, it's understanding like statistics on something, understanding something from a very left-brained situation. So maybe some of you are very feminine and you're working on integrating your more masculine side through a masculine person here. Because this person that you're with, and even if you're resonating with these more third-party narratives, I do feel like the person you're with is like a consistent long-term partner here for you. This person is very good with their masculine side and with their logical side. And so they probably can help you break down, like, I don't know, the frequency of certain happenings, or something like that, where it is very logical. Understanding, what percentage of marriages end in divorce, what percentage of children who are divorced go on to be divorced themselves. Something like that, understanding just like the raw data here of a situation. But regardless, I feel like this has led to a dark night of the soul for you, a certain feeling of eclipsing of your own power and your own energy. And I do think part of the soul lesson that you're learning via this connection or these connections, it has to do with getting your own personal power back and honoring your choice. And just being, I think whatever this is, there's an acknowledgement that spirit wants you to come to, which is that things cannot keep going the way that they have been going here in the past. And that there's a certain amount of power, quite a lot of power here, because you're dressed in red here. Wow, there's 3 people dressed in red, and then you've got his leggings are red, so much red. And even you can tell there's red under this cloak. So I feel like there's a certain amount of grieving that needs to go on, a certain amount of letting go. And what exactly it is you're letting go of, I think depends on your decisions, because spirit is being very clear that this has everything to do with you making a decision about where it is you want to put your power, and also has to do with overcoming certain limiting beliefs that don't really hold up here for yourself. And so it's a matter of choosing. And for a lot of you guys, this maybe is seeking out like some sort of an authority figure. Maybe it could be, do they call these places rehabs, where like a lot of celebrities, when they struggle with anxiety or when they are struggling in their social relationships, they go to places that are basically like rehabilitation centers for their mental health, for their social well-being. Maybe for some of you it is taking marriage classes or something. But Spirit wants you to make a choice here to put in some work to maybe get clear-headed and to do some reflecting, to do some healing in regards to this connection that you have. Because I feel like something here has come to an end. You have two indications. You've got a 10 over here for your person, which we'll talk about here in a second, what they're learning from this connection. And then water, I've mentioned this, water signs are endings for me as well. So there's something that's, the seeking is coming to an end via this connection. And Spirit sitting up there with the Jade Emperor has really, I feel like there's a certain element to this. You know, I always say this quote, but it's when Spirit built karma and the law of karma, he could take a break from running the world. And I don't see, like, it's almost like, you know, in Doctor Strange where they have their sling rings and they go to the mirror dimension and you can see them folding matter and everything, and they like set the stage for whatever is about to happen. Excuse me. I feel like Spirit is just acknowledging that like the settings here of life and how life works are facilitating the lessons that you're learning here. Like in some way, shape, or form. So just to be clear, with this seeker energy, some of you are learning how to thirst for wisdom and truth, even in uncomfortable places. Maybe looking around in your shadow side, because you've got Taurus energy here, and you are somebody who clearly values your relationships, and maybe you value something, you have more traditional values when it comes to relationships. Like you feel when you make a covenant before God, you honor that covenant, you know? Man, I'm sorry guys. I'm clearing out my throat chakra, which we have Taurus here. But I feel like for a lot of you, you're seeking answers to relational questions, which the shadow side of Venus in Taurus, which you have indicated here, is Scorpio. Power dynamics, subterfuge, sexual feelings, money after marriage, those kinds of things. That is the shadow side of love and relationships. And some of you are poking around in your own shadow side. And I'm hearing that quote that's like, well, the storms come so the trees push their roots deeper. Some of you guys, that's what this is. It's pushing your roots deeper. It's strengthening actually your marriages. It's connecting you with your why. Why are you dedicated to your partner? Why did you choose them? What is it that you are learning through your connection with them? Which for a lot of you, it really is how to integrate your masculine side and how to be logical and thinking out a problem, because this person that you're with is very, very good at that. And that actually might be a part of their, what they are known for. This is coming through in a couple of different ways, although I do feel this person has a certain amount of strategic energy when it comes to planning their career, making moves in their career, and certainly in regards to their status. For some people, this is coming through in more of a manipulative fashion, where maybe you're recognizing, this would be, let's talk about like a mask slip scenario. With the mask slip scenario, when this person maybe changed after marriage in a big way, where they could have that Bluebeard energy, where they maybe have a wake of very volatile relationships, but they were very strategic in how they put their energy forward towards you. And you believed that this person was your soulmate, and that is why you committed to them, and perhaps you committed to them under false pretenses. Let's talk about that situation here for a second, because in that case, I feel like this person was encouraged by Spirit to learn via your connection that they don't have to strategize in order to social climb. They don't have to, because I feel like that person could have a bit of like a shiny sort of a syndrome, where they achieve a certain level of success, but this person in this particular scenario, they would not associate building with relationships, funny enough. It's not something that you work towards. When I just said like, yeah, you're with a partner who is more masculine or more feminine in order to integrate those energies. No. This is a manipulator. So this is a person who's going to say, you fulfill all the masculine, I fulfill all the feminine. We don't need to work on integrating. You sit in your corner, I sit in mine, which flies in the face of any spiritual teaching on the spiritual function of marriage, right? A husband a man does not make. A wife a woman does not make, right? You have to be in the energy of wanting to be husband, wanting to be wife. And when someone's in that energy, they talk about sacrifice, they talk about integration, they talk about building. Whereas if someone is in man energy or when someone is in woman energy and they want to approach relationship, they sit in their camp and they make demands on like the other person of what it is they should be bringing to the table, what concessions they are demanding, that kind of thing. And this person could very well have that energy. So they have an immaturity to them where they constantly get taken in by what other people could offer them. They almost treat their relationships as disposable, maybe even their children as well, which is a really hard thing to say, but this could be a person who like has children in multiple relationships in order to secure funds and their dependency needs, their financial needs, which would be again shadow side of your Venus, shadow side of relationship energy. That's something that you're exploring. Why does this happen? Why is this the shadow side of love and relationships? People marrying for money, people marrying for power, prestige, and position. Why does that happen? But Spirit was trying to show this person that they can build a love and relationship through responsibilities that they have to fulfill, and that they can find a lot of meaning from that in their connecting with their solar plexus chakra, that they can fall in love with and build a love with the person that was sharing their home. And Spirit was trying to offer them a very pure love through your connection, and to find and strengthen and reflect on their own sense of self within that. But this person, I feel is just looking for other opportunities. If you're resonating with that first pile, that first scenario with this person that I'm getting. Okay, now another aspect, another way that this energy could be coming through is that your partner is very legitimately left-brained, very much so. And maybe they are new in love. Even their soul, I feel could possibly be new to love relationships. And there could be, even though this person probably comes through, maybe they are an engineer or they're very good at the STEM fields, science, tech, engineering, and mathematics. They could be very good with their spatial reality, making calculations, and they possibly do something like that for a living where they solve non-emotional problems, and they might even make comments that they like math or they like science for that very reason. So this is definitely a soul agreement in that regard, to then bring that problem solver energy to a more social space as an introduction to this person's feminine side. You're helping them integrate their more feminine side, because this person is solving problems around the house for you, and that's a way that they probably show their love. They are learning how to build relationship and connection. They're learning when to be strong and when to bend. I feel this is a person who maybe has lived a lot of monk lives in their past, or they had it was heavy on service and their jobs or something. And now with you, they are learning more of social aspects. Funny enough, I feel this person might have a very girlish or a very boyish side, where they do come off immature, but it's not intentionally immature, where it was this first scenario that I was getting. Here it's more I don't know, maybe they are very sexual, or I just get a sense that someone could come off very stoic, strong, built up in their career field, confident in their left brain, but then when you get them in the bedroom or when you get them in a romantic situation, there's something about them that's very girlish or very boyish. And maybe in terms of their relationships, they don't have that same long-term plan, sort of an energy that they have in other areas of their life. And through you, they're learning that that's actually very valuable to your relationship when they do apply that side of their mind, and then they allow you to fill that in. It's almost like they're putting posts in the ground and your vines are growing up all around it, allowing those vines to reach up towards the sky and creating something potentially very functional and very beautiful in the meantime. So it's honestly a very beautiful, beautiful connection that you could have here with this other person. And again, it's a lot of healing and a lot of forgiveness, new beginnings for this person in terms of their finance, maybe a house, a home environment. And like I said, taking care of that home environment, problem solving around it. a lot of peace and a lot of love and a lot of harmony, and just being very interested in certain things. And it's a lot of this is like being committed long term, finding somebody that they want to be committed to, and that person very much is you. And so this person is, I think another thing they could be learning is, this without regard for emotional consequences. I don't think that it's necessarily nefarious here with this second person, the second group of people. I think they're learning how to listen for the emotions that you're bringing. Because this is a person, like, they're not coming off as sociopathic or anything at all, this second person. They're more coming off as they just don't naturally look for the emotions in any situation. They're used to looking at the logical pieces, the data pieces, the structural pieces, the spatial pieces, and like problem solving. They're good at that. They probably get paid for that. So with you, they're looking how to like notice obstacles before they come in their relationships. They're learning how to communicate, how to be receptive here in this relationship, and how there's strength in like kind of building and allowing for flexibility to really come through. This person's learning how to build something. I also think this person's learning how to listen to their intuition, and they're learning how to trust and allow their dependency needs to be met, because this is not a codependent person. I think they're very independent, this person that you are with and probably married to, or in a serious relationship considering marriage. And they like to be strong for you, but they're also learning that they can let their guard down and allow themselves to be emotionally dependent and trust you to like really be there for them, So they're learning a lot of lessons here in regards to like their own relationships. Yeah, they're growing in their social emotional intelligence basically through being with you. And possibly through having a child or having a new project. If you guys are working on home projects and stuff together, I feel like there's different avenues, and you probably are drawn to not overloading this person. So, this is probably not a pile. Like if you're tapped into this person's energy, you're probably not, you probably don't have 4 kids with this person and you're doing house projects. It would be too much. It would overwhelm this person in where their soul is at. You probably have a kid with this person, and you taking things slow, and this person's really showing up in that space, or you guys are working on your home projects together. It's like, I don't know. I feel like it feels like an introduction. Also, this person's learning how to maintain boundaries within your home and within your relationships. They're learning how to be very guarded and very protective over you and over what it is that you guys are building. It's actually very, very beautiful. So another aspect to this pile is that it could very well be that you are asking about career stuff, and maybe you have a boss that maybe this is a new and unexpected boss. And you are thinking that maybe you're wondering if you should stay at this company or if you should go, because again, some sort of dependency needs. You're probably dependent on this job for some sort of money or a paycheck. And I feel like a lot of you are collecting data here, and some of you are working to build a skill set so that you can become your own boss, but you're realizing that you have to make a plan, make like a business plan, or that needs to be enacted. But some of you could have felt very powerless in the face of this, where maybe you were collecting data on something and you were like, wow, they never fixed this problem. That has to do with people. That has to do with the social aspects of this job. They don't really have regard for emotional consequences. And so you feel... And you're seen as somebody who's very emotionally intelligent, very intuitive, but also very solid and very strong. And so you might be grieving leaving this job, potentially leaving friends behind, connections that you've made in order to, maybe you have to work in a more solitary space because of whatever this is. Like, because that's how this place is operating, maybe you took a job that was more isolated or more individual or something like that. So again, Spirit is wanting you to come to the realization that something here is not working. It's not flowing. It's not abundant. And something here does need to change. But Spirit wants you to really commit to whatever path this is that you're finding, and maybe like just, I don't know, making a plan. And again, I feel like this is learning about relationships, maybe in a hierarchical sense as well. So, and what they're learning from you, if this is a work scenario, is how to consider emotional consequences, and that it matters because, people who have high employee retention, their product and services are usually better, they're higher ranked, and they have more employee retention, or customer retention and loyalty. So I feel like, and there's also something here about new ideas that could be implemented that would make for a happier, healthier work environment, and that would bring a lot of peace and harmony and like just goodwill around. It would totally change like the work environment, and I feel like that would have unintended consequences, and it would potentially bring in more opportunities or something for this business or workplace that you could possibly be dealing with. But just to kind of go back over this, there's a lot that this could be. I feel like ultimately the lessons that you are learning and working out through this connection or multiple connections, I feel like could be highlighted here, is that you are learning about relationships, equal give and take, sometimes hierarchical. You could feel, when you should stay and when you should go. You're learning about your own self-empowerment within a connection, whatever form that takes. And I think for a lot of you, it's just collecting certain pieces of information, certain pieces of data, somehow will give you a sense of self-empowerment, because it's a reminder that you can make decisions or choices that are based on that. It gives you a little bit more stability under you, perhaps. For a lot of you, you're also learning about your own dependency needs, whether that is like, Maslow, maybe this is deficiency needs as well, how to meet your own deficiency needs through a job or through this relationship. I think you're also learning about dependency needs, like connection needs that we all have as human beings, with this water energy. I do feel like something here has come to an end. And maybe it feels like a loss of personal identity to you. It could feel like a loss of innocence, a loss of trust, in regards to this other person that you're with. Because like I said, some of you guys are with a very manipulative person. That's not going to be for everybody. For some of these people, they are just very aware and like planned out and very methodical. And they have the ability to enact like a long-term plan. For some of you, that is it. I think for a lot of you guys, you're learning to walk away here from something or great many people that you did love in order to get clarity, in order to make a more logical decision. Whether that is somebody, because there's something here that was an unexpected effect due to other people. And that could be because of somebody that you're in like a marriage or relationship with. They turned out to be somebody different than you expected. But also for some of you guys, you could have, like I said, met somebody that is outside of your marriage. Perhaps it's even like a limerent sort of connection where you are feeling that impulse to leave this marriage or relationship that you are with already, even though it's stable, even though it is fruitful and it brings you a lot of happiness and harmony and joy. And you are grieving that loss of innocence, but you feel pulled in two different directions. So you're asking yourself what all of this means. Like I said, I feel like for a lot of you guys, this has to do with bigger philosophical questions around the shadow side of relationships, understanding that Venus rules relationships and Pluto is its underbelly, its opposite side. Pluto and also Mars, this more selfish nature, jockeying for position, strategizing, social climbing, arranging relationships to further yourself in a social sense. So for some of you guys, you're dealing with questions like that. But there is a grieving here and a loss of certain relationships, possibly feeling alone, but you are growing in wisdom in regards to this. And I feel like some of you are having to go somewhere uncomfortable, whether that is in your mind, in your philosophies, asking yourself difficult questions and grappling with that. Or if it's like actually getting some sort of space in order to heal your energy, in order to get clarity, seeking out some sort of an authority like a therapist or something that can help you navigate this situation. Spirit is hoping that you are getting space for yourself, focusing on work, focusing on doing the work for some of you guys. just reaffirming. For some of you guys, this really is about reaffirming and recommitting yourself to your marriage, to your covenant that was, whatever covenant was made, especially like if it wasn't made under false pretenses. Do you know what I mean? Because for some of you guys, the spiritual consent was off because someone was manipulating and trying to pass themselves off as being something that they weren't. So the spiritual consent wasn't there. And that would be like an abusive situation, spiritually abusive situation. But for others of you, this is who, like, this person, you know who this person is that you're with, and they're a good person. So for some of you guys, this unexpected change due to others was meeting somebody else that you felt a strong connection to and asking spirit why that would happen and grappling with that. And in the face of it, grieving maybe that connection and the emotions you felt and reaffirming yourself to your own marriage or commitment or spiritual path, whatever it is. But yeah, so you're dealing with this energy of an inability to commit to a path once found, whether that is, you know, you need to leave a manipulative person who is trying to use you, or you know that you made a commitment, you made a path with another person here. You are in a marriage and you're recommitting yourself to that path. But you know that some of you guys have suffered a loss of identity, a loss of voice, a loss of confidence, a loss of self-esteem in regards to this. And it's just an acknowledgement that things kind of can't keep going this way. And so it's addressing all of these different thought processes here. I think for a lot of you guys, again, like, being in a relationship with an authority figure, like a therapist or something, really could be very helpful. So these people that are with you, they tend to be learning about longer term commitment and relationships, how to build and maintain social emotional relationships, how to grow in their own maturity in regards to that, and how to, like, for those of you who are dealing with a more troubled partner, they're being encouraged through your connection to see value in you and to build their love connections at home, to really want to build and to integrate their other opposite side, instead of, you know, just making demands of their partner and then just having a fixed mindset around it. You know, like, they're not going to engage in a process to bring something together. They're instead going to start looking elsewhere for new opportunities. That shiny syndrome is going to poke up, which is a sign of this person's immaturity. For others of you, it's learning how to problem solve in a social arena. It's taking this beautiful problem solver energy this person has and applying it to a social arena. But that would be a different person altogether, right? This is not a manipulative person in that regard. So I hope that made some kind of sense, because there's a lot of different energies coming through, but that's what I'm getting for you guys, pile number 2. You do really have a beautiful energy, I feel, and it's just some of you are feeling smothered or trapped and unsure of yourself, even though you know yourself to be powerful. And this, I feel like it really threw you for a loop here. Something did. And it's teaching you about endings. It's teaching you about loss. I definitely think it has its connections in a past life. There's some kind of residual karma that's playing out here. And for some of you, that might just help in this deep philosophical reflective process where you're asking spirit like these big questions. And spirit up here with this Jade Emperor, remember I said, like, there's something about this that is almost non-emotional from spirit. And I've said this on my Patreon before, like, that's where a lot of people go wrong, is they think that certain things are punishment and then they have to, like, grovel or fawn or try and cull favor with spirit in order to change their life circumstance. But usually it is a very logical thing, because spirit is the system. Spirit made the system in its own image here, and doesn't, in my experience, spirit doesn't break its own rules. There's a famous spiritual phrase, miracles are for the non-believers. So, I just think that there could be an aspect here of that. So maybe those last little things that I threw in there of relating to God as this energy that's all around you, relating the circumstances of your life as, like, not so much that what God or Spirit or Krishna or Allah is doing to you, but just the way you yourself are navigating this, like, holy energy that's around, perhaps. But again, not going to a place of guilt or shame or re-traumatization with whatever that is. So, okay, that is, I feel like there is a karmic cycle ending, and this karmic cycle ending is somehow increasing your intuition here as well. So the further you dip into studying these spiritual topics, building your intuition through tarot, through past life work, whatever it is that you're doing, you are actually building your intuition. You're building your understanding here of the material world. And a lot of you are mastering the material world. And I do think that this other person, especially if they are in a healthy energy, they are really helping you to do that. Because this person's very developed in their left-brained, problem-solving mind. And they're teaching you some of those skills here as well. So that's what I have for you guys, pile number 2. I'm sorry this was so long-winded and maybe confusing, but if that resonated, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye. Okay, wow. Pile number 3. What are the lessons here? What are you learning? What are they learning via this connection? And boy, is this a strong spiritual connection that you have with this person, and very, very significant here for both of you as well. So you're learning a few lessons, and like I said, they're all very significant, but it rests on the fact that you're strong soulmates. And not only that, but you're showing up as equal and opposite counterweights to the other person's energy. And so Spirit has really brought the two of you together in order to transform and change and call up the way that each of you are showing up in the world and how you are expressing your own sun energy by incorporating just simply the existence of the other person, and to be able to see the other person clearly. It's got a bit of like a Pride and Prejudice vibe, you know? And like the lesson of that story is that it's not just Mr. Darcy with his social position and all of his economic power that is being prideful and prejudiced towards Elizabeth Bennet, who is in the lower socioeconomic position. Elizabeth Bennet herself, who is, by the way, very witty and socially intelligent and good at reading people, which so is your person that you're asking about here. She takes Mr. Darcy being quiet and kind of socially awkward, and she misjudges him for being pompous. So she is equally being prideful and prejudiced towards his energy. And I feel like a similar thing could have happened here for you. You clearly, there's differences here. And because there's differences, you could have misjudged one another. So Spirit has brought you together in hopes that this will help to upgrade and transform the way that you show up here in the world. And at the heart of this, believe it or not, is your fathers. Because boy, howdy, can we talk about the impact that each of your respective fathers have had on your individual psyches. I mean, it is almost immeasurable, but they've left quite a mark, for better or for worse, right? Because our fathers are just people navigating the world, and they try to impart whatever guidance they have to give that in order to help us in the best case scenario. But regardless, each one of your fathers has left quite the mark on you. And I feel like you are actually, both of you, are living out the lessons of your fathers here in your life. And you're doing that a little more consciously. Like you're consciously folding in certain lessons your father has taught you in the way that you navigate the world. Whereas I think it might be a little bit more unconscious here for this person. And I want to kind of break down the way this could show up a little bit more. But I feel like you are ultimately being asked to remember who your ultimate father is here as well. Because each one of you are out of vibrational alignment with Spirit here in your own way. Because of these misguided teachings of your fathers. It's not that you didn't have good lessons from them as well, but there's something that this connection is meant to highlight where it goes against Spirit's teachings in some way, or how Spirit wants you to show up in the world, to be on your path, something like that. So let's start with your side, because I think you actually had a better relationship with your father. And keep in mind, this is on scale, this is on a gradient. It doesn't mean that, you guys were just like so happy-go-lucky or anything, but I think that at the very least there was love and respect for your father. I think your father had some sort of a leadership position in the community and was greatly respected for their position in the family and also for the community. Could, like I said, have a leadership position here. And with this Pluto energy being next to this, I feel like your father could have worked in some sort of a career that was plutonic. So anything that was like a deep diver, like a surgeon, detective. Pluto rules other people's money. So maybe an investor or something. I think that maybe your father had to make decisions, possibly allocating resources because of their leadership position. And in order to do that and to do it well, they needed to understand maybe the darker sides of people, what motivates people's behaviors, how they get tricky, how they maybe try to juke and jive and steal for position, power, other people's money, things like that. And your father needed to understand this in order to not get like pushed off of their own leadership position. And I think they managed to do that actually quite well. And they might have even had certain things to say to you about contracts here, or business leadership. And also, I think what this synthesized into seems to be some sort of a shorthand where like the cliff notes of different red flags or ear markers for different types of people and who it is that they are and what it is that they want. So I think it was maybe this litany of little tiny judgments of like back porch wisdom or something that your father tried to impart, and it came from a really good place. Because I'm trying to say this in a way that's not judgmental, because ultimately that is how our human brains work, is by very split-second judgment calls in certain things. That's how they've evolved to keep us alive. And I think your father tried to enhance your ability to do that here in some way, shape, or form. Now, also through the guidance of your father, I feel like you were led down a more overt, more masculine path, like very straight up, very direct, possibly headed for a leadership position here yourself. And that is where, let's jump over and talk about this person's father here for a second, because ultimately the very existence of the other person here flies in the face of some sort of advice or judgment or teaching that your fathers have each given. So I think that you were actually able to see in part this person living out the lessons of their father. And it might even be more unconscious here on this person's side with Pluto being here, which is using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life. Maybe this person was in a service-oriented job. They've had to wait tables or, I don't know, be a valet or something. But I think they've had lower paying jobs than what you have or what you ever even expected to have because of the guidance that you have gotten here from your father. And I do think it led to you judging this person incorrectly in certain ways. But this person's father basically taught them how to stay small. And because these elements are here, and they're so different, I do just want to point out that I think that there's a real big possibility that there are like cultural differences between you, gender differences, maybe racial differences, socioeconomic status differences, because the way that different groups navigate the world, it's different based on those like different demographic data, things. So like, for instance, if you're in a wealthy European country, the advice that you need to navigate that setting is going to be different than, say, if you grew up in like a third world country where there's a lot of environmental pollution that you have to learn how to navigate and avoid. Where staying small and trying to stay out of the way might actually make more sense in order to navigate that area. Do you see what I'm saying? And there also strongly could be gender differences here. But, and I feel like these lessons from this person's father, it could have been a lot of it could have been, like I said, subconscious or just inferred by certain things that this person said or didn't say. There's a real possibility with your person that this person's father could have been absent, or maybe through death even, or that their relationship with their father greatly changed. But I do think that for a lot of them, this father figure was seen as very overbearing and domineering and controlling, maybe, where there could have been some sort of unspoken undercurrent of power dynamics in the early home environment, which in my opinion is disgusting because obviously children are the smaller, weaker entities. They are dependents. So why would you play some kind of power game with your own child? You know what I mean? When you're supposed to be uplifting them. But this person could have been subjected to that. This person was subjected to an awful lot in their early childhood, because, and I don't want to belittle what this person has gone through, but they seem to have triumphed, which I'll get. They seem to have passed a big spiritual test, which I will get to here in just a second, but they needed this. And that's another thing that Spirit wants to highlight here for you of kind of where you got this person wrong. Because like I said, the power between you is even. And actually, you want to talk about Sun Pluto, a lot of times it's the Pluto person that wields the most power in the dynamic. Even though you bring a lot of consciousness here to this person. So how is this playing out, right? Like I said, there's something here like the very existence and the way the other person shows up in the world is going to fly in the face of a lot of these paternal teachings. But I feel like this person could have avoided you. They could have really kept their distance from you. It's a pattern that they have. And I do think this does have to do with the energy that you were kind of giving off, or the way that it was synthesized here by this person. And I think, but this person ultimately did feel very good around you, but you did highlight this person's like Pluto. You highlighted their shadow side, their buried issues and things like that, just from observing your energy and watching the way that you navigate the world. Now, one thing that I want to describe is like the difference between the two of you. Say like metaphorically, you approach a city, your city that you both live in, and at least for this metaphor, and you're asking yourselves at the beginnings of your life, like, how am I going to metaphorically conquer this city, my way, like in accordance of me, and what do I want my mark to be? How am I going to approach this? For you, the teachings of your father, it was very overt, very direct, leadership positions, there's something clearly big about you. Maybe your father put you in a strategic position, and you can just kind of like get people out of your way. You can confront things more masculine, more direct, more head on. And you have a very good chance of winning a lot of those situations. Not for the same for this person. This person had the smaller energy and knew it. It could have been a runt For some of you, this person was malnourished. I'm about to actually kind of get mad about the way this person was treated. They learned that they were the smaller energy, but it's almost as if this person went subterranean. They found a tunnel system beneath the city, and so they were able to avoid a lot of the muck, just overall and in general. And this has everything to do with this person's spiritual test that they were being put through. Now, so I feel like the lessons that you're learning basically is you incorrectly judge this person because you didn't understand feminine energy. You were maybe judging it on the same rubric that your father had imparted for you. Maybe you are male or you're masculine. And so, but you overgeneralize that to like everything. This is what power looks like. This is what power doesn't look like. So you could have offered only destructive criticism, only judging this person by their weaknesses, that they were using lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life. Misusing business, legal, or criminal authority. Some of you guys, you were the authority, I think, here in this situation. But what you didn't see is this person's strength. You only like judge them as like, okay, well, I need to fix you in this way, which puts you in a position of power. But you have justice energy here twice. You are so much on the same level as this person, right? It's just their strength is internal. And I think they have developed, like I said, an inner strength. They understand how people work, much like your father does. So I do think Spirit brought you guys together in the hopes of being able to bless you both with this connection. Because if you do have some sort of aims for power, position, leadership, this would be the person that would be able to help you get there. I do think this person understands psychology and what makes people tick, and that's how I think this person is able to avoid centers of power or any any relationship that would try and put them in some sort of power dynamic motif to begin with, right? Like that wants to judge them on a different sort of scale, on a masculine scale. And that was the energy that you were putting off, is that you were very much judging them on like success, status, position. And I think for a lot of you, you're learning lessons of relationships. And I want to say this, and I'm so sorry, I'm just going to say it pretty blunt. You are actually looking strong. Like I can actually speak to you pretty directly. Some of you did choose the wrong person. Like you chose the wrong type of person. You chose someone that was maybe masculine, even if they're, in a female body or something, they are more masculine. And like, I think they're also in sun energy. You didn't account for like the differences and the strengths in having those equal and opposite forces in your partnership and in your life. Because maybe you automatically judge this energy as weak. So this person that you could be with could also be a sun type, where they are independent, career focused, status focused, visibility focused, things like that. So I think ultimately some of you guys are in a relationship where there could be betrayals or heartbreak, a lot of harsh words said, competition, arguments, jockeying for position or power, and a restriction of the selfhood energy ultimately. Whereas this other energy, if you'd been in a partnership that was equal and opposite rather than just equal and the same, where it's just like two rocks beating each other, then it's equal and opposite. I mean, it would just fit together. Even if this is not like I'm not talking like sexually. I'm talking like your energies would have complemented each other a little more, where this person's not competing with you. You know what I mean? This person you're asking about would not have competed with you. They would have enhanced you, and they would certainly have helped you navigate power, really, and understanding people's intentions, because this person had to understand that in order for them to survive. Now, so Spirit is saying, please, and I just want to keep saying this as well, please do not like go to a shame place or a guilt place or where you're being self-judgmental, because these places in the zodiac that are spiritual tests, it's just known and talked about that it takes lifetimes, sometimes thousands of lifetimes to pass the single test. And you are being given the blessing of debriefing the situation right now, growing in your own wisdom, doing a lot of reflection here on this. So I feel like you're good. Like you're on your path, you're learning your lessons, you're debriefing from this, I feel like you're trying to fold this in. But, and this was supposed to kind of like knock you from your pedestal here. Spirit, I don't think you meet a lot of people who can hold their own in regards to your energy. And that's what Spirit wanted to do. And in some cases, I do feel this person overpowers you. So Spirit wanted to kind of knock you from that. And And Spirit did want you to try and defend your position, at least in your mind, in order to realize the fallacy of it, where it falls short. Now, for this person, they were undergoing a feminine test, where if you take a moment and like think about a feminine spiritual test, right? Like a lot of it has to happen early on in their life, or like, I mean, right around coming of age time, because the settings have to be set. Just like right for that, because a feminine test is all about maintaining that beautiful internal energy, that truly beautiful energy that is peaceful and harmonious and loving, even in the face of this opposite energy, which Pluto is opposite Venus on the wheel, of sabotage and subterfuge and jockeying for power, which is why this person, 22 is a master number. This person has mastered this by going within. And they have passed this spiritual test where they have managed to maintain their beautiful, pure, feminine energy in the face of some really difficult circumstances. Now, think about this for a second. I feel like it's just important to help you understand what this person has been through. This is another incorrect judgment you have made, that they don't understand abundance or something like that. This person down here has an absolute cubic F ton of storehouse of spiritual blessings that will come through in the form of abundance. You've got Jupiter down here, and you've got the height of Jupiter. You've got a new beginning. You've got the start of a new cycle here. Now, let me explain to you the reason why this new cycle has kicked in so late in this person's life. It is because this person was ready to confront their own feminine spiritual test. And in order to do that, their blessings cannot be given via the father or the mother because of all of this plutonic energy around them in their early childhood environment. If they were given, Spirit is like intelligent, Spirit is orchestrating all of this. So if you give somebody the blessings they'd earned when they are undergoing the trials of this spiritual test, where they are to be confronted with people who are basically trying to gain control over other people's assets, resources, and power, and sabotage them at every given possibility, then those blessings are not really going to land with that person. So they get withheld, right? They cannot come through father. This is why often, like, the occultist undertone of fairy tales is a female, not all females, but females who are not just females, let me correct, because Aladdin is a male energy that is undergoing a feminine test. But when you're undergoing that feminine test, your own blessings that you have earned from past lives that comes through in abundance, wisdom, travel, being well cultured, all of that comes oftentimes through Jupiter. Jupiter rules over husband. It can also rule over spiritual adepts, like a spiritual calling or something like that. So this person passed their spiritual test, basically, where they maintained that beauty, that fairness, in the face of people trying to sabotage them and trying to desecrate them. And think about this for a second. Let me just give you some examples. Snow White, right? Where were her parents? She didn't enjoy the protection of a father, for sure. So, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Oh, it's Snow White. Let me try and kill her. Right? That's a plutonic theme. Let me try to take her out. Cinderella, again, did not enjoy the protection of a father. Even though he loved her very much, he died. And the jealous feminine energies around her tried to sabotage her at every opportunity. They stole her inheritance. They gaslit her, and ultimately tried to sabotage her ability to escape their own imprisonment. They used their power that they had over her in order to make her subservient. But even in the face of all of that, she maintained her innocence, her beauty, her harmony, and her belief in goodness, and demonstrated that via her spiritual test. Belle from Beauty and the Beast, another person, did not enjoy protection of a father. Even though her father was there, he was considered an oddball. He was not taken seriously. You even had like quotes in that movie from Gaston of like, Belle, do you really want to know what happens to spinsters when their fathers die? So even though her father did what he could to protect her, especially while he was alive, he was easily thwarted by plutonic types of men that were scheming. Gaston schemes to get her father put away in a mental institution, right? And Belle herself is viciously gossiped about by the townsfolk. She's an oddball. She likes to read. And she wants much more than this provincial life, which, by the way, is a signal that feminine energy is ready for their spiritual test. So ultimately she is driven like kind of out of that town. But again, maintains her own beauty. The name Beauty is a signal to her inner beauty, right? Just as some examples of how feminine spiritual tests manifest, but it's this undermining energy and degrading energy because of somebody's position, because they don't have the protection of a father, because they don't have certain gifts and blessing, and they're seen as less than, often socioeconomically, because of that position. People do not see their power, but ultimately, you have the beast, you have these men who do see the true worth and power, and because of that, they are both blessed in their unions. And that is what I'm talking about down here, where this person almost comes with a spiritual dowry that is kicked in when they come of age, when they demonstrate that they can handle themselves around different power dynamics, and that they can see through people, and that they understand like this jockeying for power, and that they can manage their true beauty. And then they have an extreme reversal in their fortune, right? Which is the prince that comes through. And so maybe some of you were meant to be this person's prince. I don't know. I definitely think there is a husband here. For some of you, this person had a choice between two types of people. But ultimately, this person is starting a new cycle. They are having a huge change in fortune. Part of your karmic lesson, karmic test, is to get knocked off of your pedestal by watching this change of fortune, by seeing what was always there come to fruition, and by seeing where your judgment, you actually became a part of the spiritual test rather than the prince that was involved. You became this negative, destructive force, as well, joining this more negative energy around this person that they had to work to break free from, rather than somebody who is a balancing force here in their life. So maybe that's what this betrayal energy is, or this like argumentative fighting energy. I do feel this person has restricted their energy from you. They do try to avoid you, even though they do like you, and this person has feelings for you. Yeah. So this person is going after their own fulfillment, and this person really does have to cut ties with their family of origin, and they need to not rely on their family of origin for abundance or monetary support, and instead initiate their own sun energy, which again, regardless of how this has played out, you have managed to do that. You have initiated this person's sun energy, either through restriction of affection, through harsh words, through judgment. That could have just been a big part of this initiation of this person going after their own sun energy. This is an exalted sun energy. Look, through this death, transformative sort of an energy. This person could have gone through a time where they dipped off of your radar in order to do this transforming. And when they emerged the princess of their kingdom, metaphorically speaking, the prince or princess of their kingdom. And we have this thief energy at the bottom of the deck. I feel that this people could have tried to steal money, creative ideas, affection, or other powers they think they lack by putting this person down, trying to put this person in their place. And by their place, and I hope they doesn't include you in this, they meant their socioeconomic status. Understand your place in the pecking order. When really, this person is the prize. They are the prize. And the feminine energy, especially around, tends to know, and they tend to try and subvert this person. But with thief, sheds light on the potential wealth within you that can never be stolen. This person they could definitely protect your wealth here. And they have a similar energy to your dad, where it's like they could easily read people and help you strategically navigate to get yourself in some sort of position of power. Maybe some of you want to like be a judge, or I don't know, something like that. They could definitely help you understand who is for you, who isn't, what is this person's angle, what is their strengths, what their weaknesses. But this person comes from such a very good place that they would want you to succeed. And like this person, I think you're with someone, or you have been with people in the past that compete with you. They jockey for position. They view your strength and this person's strength as something to fight against and like take down. Whereas this person would be like, I love to see you succeed. You know, like, what else can I do? Like, do you need a finger sandwich? Like, what do you need? You know? Yeah. And I feel like, okay, interesting. We have prostitute. Yes, that's this person's test showing up. Accentuates the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit. I do feel this person could have been propositioned to be in relationships for the wrong reasons. Because they're certainly, I think this person's beautiful. Inside and out. And people would look at this person as being weak and easily being able to be domineered over. But this person evades that with class, might I add. And yeah, so that was a part of their test that's showing up, and that's what's bringing us to guide. Some of you guys, like your father, even though they meant well, they could have placed financial gain and control over imparting spiritual insight. You could have received information that's like guidance, like never, what is it? If you're good at something, never do it for free. Whereas this person delights in serving others with a free and loving heart, and they ultimately understand the lessons of Jupiter. Jupiter rules over abundance. And so it means that Jupiter rules over abundance, but they're the priests. They are the stewards of God. So it's like any resources we are given as stewards, and we must allocate and offload in a way that reflects, I'm hearing that song, it's like reflects his image and shows the world what he cares for. It's not power, it's not position, right? And this person, that's why the Wheel of Fortune is the divine hand of fate, God coming in. And so to mix things up and to say, this is my will, you know, in a situation. And so God has willed this person into a higher position of power or something. So your person's going through a cycle of healing right now. Some of you guys, that is a bit of this karmic fallout, is you just kind of I do think you have restricted access to this person. I do think they might even try to avoid you because they sense that there's judgment here in your energy, or they sense that there would be, it's either you or the people that are around you that are combative, and that would put this person into their place, so to speak, and that you could potentially not check that energy or something. But this person is on the lookout for new horizons and new opportunities. I get that this person could be in a new relationship, or there's like a revival here of their relationship. Whoever is with this person, husband, very blessed. And it's because of this person's spiritual dowry, which in part is their harmonious nature that they have. So I know this could have been a bit of a tougher message, especially if you feel like you fumbled the ball. But like I said, I'm speaking directly to you because you look like kind of a direct person. I think some of you could have been very used to getting some direct lessons that are tough, that are like, here, we got to talk about this. Like, let's not beat around the bush about it. You know, this is how the world is. And I feel like for a lot of you, this is actually a blessing. This is actually the grace of God coming through and saying, listen, I know you're going through a really difficult time because of maybe the choices that the way that everything did shake out. It's normal for it to shake out this way. We're going to keep working to get you there. Spirit is seeing you as a very wise person, and somebody who is honestly somebody, maybe even if you are in a relationship, I think that you're in a very competitive environment, and the relationship you're in, there's betrayals where they undermine your energy. They could use, whoever you're with could use their own plutonic understanding, their own feminine understanding to undermine you and to cause problems and chaos and combative energy that makes you ultimately feel ostracized and alone, which is interestingly like how this person felt. So maybe some of you are gearing up for your own spiritual feminine test, regardless of what sort of a body you're in. But Spirit does want you to learn Libran lessons of who to trust, lessons of contract, spiritual contract, lessons of consent, lessons of choice, partnership, equal give and take, and the poisons, the strengths, the weaknesses you bring to the table, and that possibly you bring in from past lives. So I just feel like Spirit is coming through to say, we're going to get you there. You and this person are ultimately a team. Like you are strong soulmates, and it's like it's considered a win that like this person crossed the finish line here in one way or another. And I feel like you're being invited to follow in their footsteps or to learn from this. So this, try not to think of this as a punishment, you being relegated to the sidelines of this person's life. You're being invited to watch, you know, and I just feel like there's something to be learned, or something that's going to click into place, some sort of insight about the potential wealth within you that can never be stolen. Some of you very well could lose your wealth because of a partnership. There was like no prenup or not a good one, or I don't know. There could have been something here like that where there is karmic fallout. But yeah, Spirit is seeing you as being very service oriented. That could have been in part what has initiated this person into like delighting and serving others with a free and loving heart. But there has been judgment passed on this situation in more ways than one. So yeah, I do think this person's cutting negative karmic ties, especially with people who were trying to use them for their own gain, or with their early family environment, or people who only care about status in a material way. So anyways, I think that's all I have for you guys here, pile number 3. I feel like I've been talking for an age, but I hope that resonated with you guys. And if it did, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye guys.